you to the Synesthesia conference. We want to invite you over the next 2 days to discuss synesthesia as a phenomenon in the arts, humanities, and neuroscience with us. We have the good fortune of hosting this conference at the Theater Glaskasten, the former Schmidtische Ballhaus, dating from the early 20th century. Not only is it a wonderful location in itself, but it's located directly next door to our gallery space, where we're currently exhibiting the 4th Synesthesia exhibition with the title Translating, Correcting, Archiving, with works by Ditte Linker-Pedersen, Eva Marie Boltz, and Andy Holton. It's the final show of our Synesthesia series. This synergy allows us to experience both theoretical and the practical. I hope you'll all take the chance during the breaks or tonight at 7 p.m. to visit the exhibition. A few words about Art Laboratory Berlin. Over the last 7 years, Art Laboratory Berlin has arranged over 30 exhibitions, numerous artist talks, workshops, seminars, and symposia. The starting point for all our projects has been a connection between the visual arts and other disciplines, such as literature, music, science, technology, and politics. Here you see some images from our last symposia here, the Soloit Symposia, which accompanied our exhibition on Soloit's artist books in 2011. As the postmodern era recedes, our curatorial focus has taken note of the radical social, phenomenological, and aesthetic changes resulting from new technologies that have emerged over the last few decades. Projects have included cosmopolitics, new media art from the Czech Republic, curated by Denise Sekera and Pavel Sedlak. We curated the exhibition Senses Alert on genetic modification with the artist Dmitry Balatov. In 2009, we presented Seized, a retrospective of works by the Collective Critical Art Ensemble, based around the FBI investigation of member Steve Kurtz. In 2011 and 2012, our series Time and Technology took as its theme the effects of the latest technology on our perception of time over the last 25 years, and placed this in the context of international artistic production. These inquiries form the basis for 4 exhibitions, 4 performances, several artist talks between November 2011 and October 2012, as well as a panel at the International Conference Metamorphosis, a tribute to uncertainty, in December 2012. Over the last 9 months, we've presented a series of 4 exhibitions on the theme of synesthesia. We consider synesthesia to be an artistic paradigm and a neurological phenomenon. It's been prominent in the melding of the arts from the Renaissance through Romanticism and Symbolism, and it played a major role in the 20th century avant-garde. The phenomenon of synesthetic perception can be mirrored today in the multimediality of our technological age. This interdisciplinarity of the senses led Art Laboratory Berlin to search for artists who either use synesthesia as a basis for their work or who incorporate their own synesthesia in their art. Before Regine gives you a brief introduction into the Synesthesia series and the 2-day Synesthesia conference program, let me express our thanks to all of those who have supported us. We are very grateful to the Ernst Schering Stiftung, who supported our endeavor of an international 2-day conference in an important way. Special thanks go to Heike Mertens. Thank you. We also want to thank our cooperation partners very much, namely the Association of Neuroaesthetics, Platform for Art and Neuroscience, for their input during the preparation phase of the conference. Our grateful thanks go also to PhotoScout, namely Tim Doyson, for the wonderful support in the field of media archiving. and for the support of the Synesthesia as a whole. We'd want to thank Mikhail Schroeder for his constant personal support. Finally, we also want to say thank you to Art in Berlin, our media partner, who's covered our series, including this conference. And especially, we want to thank the conference speakers who've traveled to Berlin from the whole world, from Ohio, New York, Sydney, Vienna, London, and many other locations. Thank you for coming here and sharing with us your concepts and ideas.
Hello also from my side, and welcome everyone to the Synesthesia conference. I'd like to give you a little brief survey about the Synesthesia exhibition series. In 2010, we conceived the Synesthesia series like an open call, and it was finally shown between October 2012 and July 2013. The Synesthesia exhibition series started off last autumn with a show, The Orange Smell of November, with works by Barbara Rhine and Annette Stamer. Among the works shown was Annette Stamer's interesting video, A ist blau, A is blue, which you can see here in the foyer, and filmed from above. A ist blau shows the artist's mother, Ailide Lefort, in a sort of laboratory setting, meticulously trying to fix these inner colors on paper while simultaneously describing the connection between the colors and the phonemes. The result is an enchanting translation of subjective perception into acoustic and visual material. The focus is on language that, following the international logic of Ailide's perception, serves not only as a description of this phenomena, but becomes in itself a sort of substance, assuming color and consistency. Therefore, it evokes within the listener poetic, almost surreal images. The artist Barbara Rhine from the UK, her perception of the world are underpinned by her polymodal synesthesia, which in turn forms the foundation of her artistic work. She experiences her synesthesia as something that is in her parallel conscious, as opposed to something that is in the subconscious, creating a duality of vision, as she phrased it. In her installation, which we only can see a little part here, with the title, That Can't Be September, It Smells Like the August of 1985, she combines in a unique way the artist's intimate personal relationship between scent, color, time, and space, played out within the city of Berlin, where she lived in the 90s. The installation is a coded recreation of her senses, and the sense of space especially. Space and time as imbued with color and odor. Using text, photography, and DIY fragrances, she remaps the city according to the systematic guidelines of her own synesthesia. The viewer is then invited to explore and decode the artist's unique phenomenological structures. The second exhibition of the Synesthesia exhibition series was called Space and Perception, and it opened in January 2013, featured Maddie Boyd and Kerry Furman. Maddie Boyd, she will talk tomorrow, she showed her complex installation, The Point of Perception, which she has developed together with neuroscientists from London University College since 2009. She produced an extended version for the show at Art Laboratory Berlin, with an audio portion developed together with composer Nye Perry. She will talk more thoroughly about her project tomorrow in the early afternoon panel. This is a close-up. Kerry Furman is an emerging electronic artist from the US. She is a synesthete, and her work is inspired by studying and experiencing the crossing of senses. She sees synesthesia not only as a sensory phenomenon, but also a fantastic world interface responsible for completely unique perceptual experiences. Her current work encourages its participants to reconsider their perception, helping them to come to the realization that even most basic level of perception differs widely between otherwise similar individuals. Furman's installation, Synexperience, as well as her interactive digital work, My Synesthetic Library, invite viewers to share in her own unique perceptual experience of the world. The third exhibition within the Synesthesia series was called History of the Senses, and dealt with the phenomenon of synesthesia on the levels of culture and media history. The British artists Simon Davenport and Carl Rowe have worked on a number of artistic projects that combine the performative with artistic research on a cultural history of the senses. A Banquet for Ultra Bankruptcy was a food performance specially developed for Art Laboratory Berlin. It was based on the Marinetti's Manifesto for the Futurist Cuisine, Manifesto de Cucina Futurista, which formed the starting point for a series of performances followed by an exhibition. The overarching theme of synesthesia provides a basis for the study of aesthetics, politics, and participation, as well as for the reactions of the participants. A Banquet for Ultra Bankruptcy was made up of 5 performances for 6 guests. During a 6-course menu, selected foods were combined with images, sounds, and scents. Each of the courses was designed as an aesthetic experience, allowing the audience to participate in simultaneous sensations, and I'm going to show you a few pictures. The work Circus 8 was composed in 1986 and 2008 by the Italian composers and artists Sergio Maltagliati and Pietro Grossi. It consists of 8 pieces and is based on Grossi's programs called Home Art, which automatically generated sounds or graphics. Maltagliati has expanded Grossi's principle with software programs and combined sound and visual graphic variations. The visual data generated by a computer approximates the graphic score for a sound composition. Whilst the work Circus 8 adds a media historical dimension to Art Laboratory Berlin's Synesthesia series, it also brings an important new component into the discussion. That was our thesis, basically. The computer functions, in our opinion, as an artificial brain with its own form of digital synesthesia. Now coming to the current exhibition. Maybe most of you have already seen it next door. About the current exhibition, translating, correcting, and archiving. I don't want to give too much away, as 2 of the artists, Ditte and Eva, will give presentations today. It's an intriguing exhibition by 3 synesthete artists, which explores, defines, translates, and conveys the uniqueness of perception. I want to show you singular views. Here what you see is only an idea. You have to see it in the original in the first room. Artworks, Der innere Monitor by Eva Maria Bolz. This is a still from the videos by the US-American artist Andy Holton. And this is what you might see in real next door. Artworks by Ditte Linger-Pedersen, Why is Green a Red Word? Since 2010, we started conceiving the Synesthesia exhibition series, as we said already, and we were very interested in adding a theoretical background, giving some fertile soul to the exhibitions. We have had numerous artist talks and seminars. And now we come to the conference. That's why we're here. In the introduction, the keynote speech, and the first panel defining synesthesia, we want today discuss the neurological phenomenon of synesthesia and its manifold forms from different perspectives, psychology, medicine, and from the visual arts. The panel, Translating Synesthesia, later on, will shed light on the connection between synesthesia and the arts, with a concentration on the late 19th and early 20th century. Special emphasis is given of textuality. The last panel of today will focus on the aspects of sound and vision as synesthetic phenomenon, first in the avant-garde of the early 20th century, and then in contemporary example, a reflection of audiovisual transfers. Tomorrow, Saturday, in the first panel, we will look at a cultural history of synesthesia from the 18th century through the avant-garde into film of the 1960s. This panel, Synesthetic Sensations in Cultural History, Film and the Visual Arts, will give us a large survey on the coupling of the senses, both in philosophy and aesthetics. The panel, Synesthetic Laboratories of Art and Science, will present results of artistic and scientific research into the core of perception and synesthesia from 3 different viewpoints: art history, artistic research, combined with neuroscience and psychology. Finally, the panel Synesthesia and the 21st Century will draw our attention to the importance of synesthesia and the new technologies that have defined recent decades. We will discuss the role of the synesthesia in the digital world, and also the synesthetic properties of new devices, especially the mixing of the visual and the haptic. During these 2 days, we're coming to our end of the introduction. During these 2 days, we want to share with one another an intense knowledge production, extend scholarly and artistic research, and contribute to current research into synesthesia. We wish you and all of us an intensive conference with manifold aspects and a fruitful discussion. Thank you for your attention.